Alrighty folks, a warm welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 2 in our 2024 Colorado series. This year we headed over to the States for 15 days with 3 different tags between the two of us. I'm after a black bear and Rod's after a mule deer and an OTC elk. And of course we had to have a crack at some small game too. So join us whilst we amble around the backcountry of Colorado, chasing birds and beasties.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're sitting looking at the bears.
Just because I have hair. So we are currently sitting...
Currently.
Fuck off. Stop it. So we...
Could be raisins.
Stop making me cry.
What?
Because we'll never get it done. So we are currently sitting glassing a hill face across from which is pretty much like the A9. There is just an endless stream of cars. We're in a car park that is full of folk. There was a guy selling a car over there, cyclists, joggers, dog walkers, all sorts. But apparently this is the place to see bears. So here's hoping we see one tonight.
If bears are coming down there eating berries all night and then going back up there, they can sit up there and get on a bit hidden there and just pretty much chill out all day.
Yeah.
They're just going to bother them there. You're not able to get to them.
Yeah. There's lots of like little fucking cavey bits that we were seeing from the other
Oh, there's
bit.
heaps.
Right, they could just be in there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, halfway up there, there's like big, like terraces almost, isn't it?
Yeah. I wonder how much they tolerate each other, you know what I mean? Like how far apart each bear will be. It really depends on their ages and stuff as well.
You see them on tips and stuff like that, and you get 3 or 4 all together and just...
Just as the sun slipped away over the hills behind us, the bears began to emerge.
Yeah, it's annoying, it like poked its head out to the side like it was going to come out and then it went back in there.
Yeah. What time is it?
7 o'clock. What time shooting light?
It had just turned 7 o'clock. Legal shooting light only gave me about half an hour, if that. And without seeing this bear on its own out in the open for some time prior, I just wouldn't be comfortable shooting it. There could be cubs tucked in that tree line just out of sight. Apparently they don't stray far from their mothers, but if this bear was a female, she was still close enough to the trees that they could still be with her. Just out of sight. So until I knew what this bear was and if it was on its own, I wasn't going to make a move on it. Something spooked the bear we were watching, and as it ran down the face, we got a better look at, presumably him, and he was chunky. Oh, here he comes. Oh, damn it.
Is that another one further up? Another one coming out further up by the pine trees where he came from.
The something that spooked him soon emerged from where he'd come out of. It was another bear, of a similar size and stature. To see bears in the wild for the first time was something else. That moment alone made my trip. If you don't know me, I really love bears. To the point where the day I turned 18, I got one tattooed on my shin. And I'm not talking like a cutesy little small tattoo either. It's half my bloody leg. I mean, my biggest aspiration in life is to stalk a grizz. So seeing bears, wild and free for the first time, meant a lot to me. Here he comes. He just like flattened a tree. Oh.
Just stomping about, but it's a stud, innit? Just splattering trees. So we're still watching bears. We found some. We actually found 2. But I'm going to have to do the talking because Charlie's too excited to even speak. Literally too excited.
Yeah.
Can you stop shaking it, Charlie?
I just want it to be morning. No.
Look at the camera.
No.
Say that again.
I just want it to be morning, like now. Like, I'll happily stay here all night and wait for day to break again.
And then swim across the river.
Just wait, just walk. Like, honestly, those are decent bears. Not that I've got much to compare it to, but
They're big black things.
those are big black things.
Sunset was 7, which means that you're allowed half an hour after sunset, which gives you till 7:30. The bears were both, the first bear came out at about 10 past, and actually it might have been 7:05 when we first saw it, but it probably came into view about 10 past. Then we drove along here and it was about 15 past. There's no way there was time to go and get over to where it is. But both of the bears had came out. It's like a snowshoot, like a little valley going up in between the rocks, like a snowshoot where the trees are growing. And they both came out the bottom of it, and both of them were out within shooting light. So the plan really is to come in the morning, be here while it's still dark, watch for them, try and cut one off, try and shoot it. If that doesn't work, the place that it's in looks like it's probably 50 yards wide. It's hard to say because it's a long way away, it might be 100 yards wide. But either way, it's got like a rocky outcrop on either side of it, and the bears are coming out in between. So with a bit of luck, if you were there early enough, you could go up there and sit in the rocks and be able to shoot into the little valley that they're coming out of, because they'll come out of there every day. It's about, on this face, it's about the only one that really seems to go right to the top and into the forest beyond. The rest seem to dead end. So the likelihood that they're coming out there every day, so that's a flippin' good plan anyway. Somebody's excited.
The faster we go to sleep, the faster
You're
we
not
get
going to
up.
be sleeping. You're going to be like walking around the bloody room. Didn't kid yourself. It's like, oh, Santa's coming.
We could just sit here.
We're not just going to sit here at all.
We could.
Anyway, hopefully I'll check back in the morning when we've seen some more bears.
Yeah.
So we're back at the bear mark and we are just waiting for morning. Waiting for day to break. Good morning, it's day 4 and I've just finished trying the plan for the bear. I walked along this cycle track here and just had a wee look, but I didn't see anything. And I'm kind of glad. I know that sounds ridiculous. I'm desperate to film a tag and I'll take any opportunity I get, but I kind of want to work from a bear. Like, I want to stalk the bear or, ambush it or just play the bear. Like, I don't want to just walk up and shoot it. Like, I want it to be difficult. Yeah. Basically, like, you can go anywhere pretty much in America and Canada and pay to shoot a bear over a bait barrel. And I've got nothing against it, but I've got no interest in doing it. I want to stalk it. I want to, be on the ground with it. So tonight I'm going to sit where they came out and hopefully they come back out again. But right now, Rod is currently not here, as you can see, because he spotted 2 mule deer. And he's working his way along. I can't actually see him, and it was a wee while ago yet. But he said they were coming across a private. And it was exactly at this point here where I saw a bear.
Right. We were in here trying to find bears. I look around me, all these bushes are hanging with berries. It's actually kind of scary because the bushes are quite bushy and the bear could just be in here still. Anyway, we didn't see any bears, but we saw a bunch of deer, so I snuck in and I shot a doe. She was somewhere near where I'm stood, or at least within 50 yards of where I'm stood, and she's ran about 150 yards along the hill and bedded down. I could see her in the binos at 120 yards, and I could see the strike, which looks to be back of the chest, possibly liver, which isn't the best in the world, but it was definitely blood that was coming out, so I've definitely got blood, so it's just a matter now of just really sitting and waiting. I don't want to bump her again. I'd kind of like to try and sneak up and put another shot on, but the shot looks like it's good enough to do the job, so I'm loath to go in there. I might just actually back out completely back down to the road. I haven't even looked for my arrow yet. I'm just trying not to take my eyes off the spot. So these little brown bushes here is where she's gone in, and she bedded. Then all the other deer went up onto the ridge behind her up into here. And when they did, she got up and moved and I lost sight of her. But she didn't go up with the other deer, definitely. So I'm guessing she just bedded again. Anyway. Right, I'm following this deer up. She's came quite a long way. I nearly got a shot at her and I got within 100 yards of her, but I bumped her. But she's bleeding quite good. I'm kind of trying to bump her on purpose to make her bleed a wee bit more, because she didn't seem like she was that bad. Charlie just phoned me and said she's seen her collapse around the corner from me, so hopefully she's done for. There's a bit of blood here I'm going to try and film. It's not mega good blood, but it's there's a fair bit of blood as I've been walking along, so anyway, I'll leave it at that for now because I'm trying to be quiet and trying to sneak around. Well, hopefully you can hear me with the traffic. I sat here watching this hill face where I shot this deer this morning. I sneaked up on her to try and see if I could get another shot at her, and bumped her, and she ran along a little bit, and the hits like back of the rib cage, so there was decent blood, but she's going towards a line that I'm not sure whether we're allowed to hunt beyond. I don't know what the meaning of the stuff on the Onyx is. I would have to have a look, so I'm trying not to bump her into there again. So we've backed out basically, and we've sat, and we're trying to give her a good 2 or 3 hours just to make sure, because the last thing I want to do is bump her into somewhere where we can't follow up. Basically, she was last seen around about there and went into some bushes. I shot her approximately, let's see, here somewhere. And she ran along to here and bedded, and then I tried to sneak up her and bumped her, and she followed on along to here where she is now. So basically that's the story so far. Whilst I was doing that, Charlie was down on the bottom waiting and still looking for bears, and a bear came out of the riverside and bumped into somebody's dog. So the dog barked at it and scared the bear, and there was a big faff on. I don't exactly know what went on, but the guy shouted Charlie over to come and shoot the bear, and the dog barked and the bear ran off, and between them all they never saw the bear again, so I don't really know where the bear went. It might even still be down the riverbank, or maybe there's a culvert there or something that's gone in. Anyway, the bushes when you go up in there are hammered with bear sign. They're all broken and there's berries on all of them. It was actually quite daunting being in there because the bear could hide in there quite easily, although it doesn't look that thick. Anyway.
So that turned into quite an eventful morning, honestly. Rod shot a deer, a muley doe. He shot her a little further back in the chest, but I saw her in the binos just before she collapsed, and I'd say there's nothing wrong with the shot. It's like back of the lungs, livery more than anything, and a wee touch low, but the wound was pishing with good red blood, and I saw her wobble just before she collapsed, so I'm pretty confident she's dead there. From my perspective, the shot seemed good enough. Obviously, you can't tell until you're looking at the carcass, but I've seen enough deer die to know that that wobble was likely her last. But we're going to give her a few hours just to make sure she expires. When it comes to the bow, it's actually best practice to give your animals a good amount of time before tracking. And I get why Rod wants to leave her as long as possible. If your shot doesn't go perfect with a bow or a rifle, it's easy to get in your own head and think that it's a lot worse than it actually is. Anyway, while all that was going on, I saw and kind of chased a bear. So the guy who told us about this mark the other night showed up to walk his dog, and off he goes along the riverside, and about 200 yards along, out comes this little bear in front of him. It was just above knee height, so I assume it might have been like one of last year's cubs kicked off its mum. They tend to stay with their mums for 2 years, but like, you know what I mean, like a 2-3-year-old bear. Anyway, this guy's got one of those itty bitty pitties, you know, the little lapdog pit bulls, like our staffies, but with more legs. Sweetest little girl. But she puffs herself up at it, the bear panics and starts darting about, and at this point I've thrown myself out the car. I'm running over to them with the bow, no binos, no camera gear, no rangefinder. I'd already taken everything off for the morning. The guy's shouting, "Go get your bear, go get your bear." He points to where it went and gets his dog out of there, and I go off in the bushes after it. But it is gone without a trace. Shame, but a bit of excitement to say the least. After a good wait, we started to worry about the sun ruining the carcass. The heat of the day had come on strong, and so Rod headed back up the hill whilst I stayed at the bottom to guide him to where I'd last seen the deer.
This morning I shot a deer along the way and tried to follow it up because I wasn't sure about the shot. It looked back of the ribs into the liver potentially, and I bumped it trying to get another shot, and we watched it, well, Charlie rather, from the bottom watched it ran along in bed, so we've left it for probably 3 hours, maybe even more, because we just really didn't want to bump it any further. And so I've came back up to try and get round the wind to try and chase it if it wasn't dead back in away from private. Anyway, I came up here, couldn't find it where we thought it was going to be, so I went way back along the hill and found blood, and then I've tracked the blood all the way along, good blood, all the way, till suddenly there was a splodge of blood where Charlie thought it had laid down, and then I couldn't find anything else at all. So I've been sat there for half an hour. Charlie's came up to help look, and I've been on Google looking for tracking dogs locally. I phoned one, didn't get an answer, luckily actually. Then I phoned our friend Scott and just to let him know what was going on, and he said just look around because sometimes they slither under a bush or whatever. Anyway, as I'm talking to him on the phone saying does he know any tracking dogs, I stand up and look down the hill, and there it is, laid stone dead right below me. It is absolutely stone dead. It must just have laid there and then kicked and tumbled straight down the hill. So also between where we're stood and where it's laying is where I walked up the hill about half an hour ago before I searched all the way back along there and all the way up and down the cliffs looking for the blood. I must have walked within 10 feet of it. Anyway, let's go and get down there and see what it is and get it cut up and get it bagged up and packed out and cold before it gets ruined. Jesus. Right, we're done. Just watch this boulder, Charlie, when you come down, it's loose. We'll drag her down a bit onto a flat bit.
Thankfully, she'd fallen under a bush and had been lying mostly in the shade. but the parts that had been exposed to the sun were now hot to the touch. We'd have to work quickly to get her off the hill and onto some ice.
Yeah. And hopefully we can just get her to sit on this little bit of stones that I've collected. Right, there we go. That's her wedged.
Mule Deer, isn't it?
One of like Sika.
Yeah, almost. We've got a very, very slopey nose to them though.
It's not hit bad, it's hit back of the ribs, high, like liver, like I said.
Just took a minute.
Anyway, it's good and dead anyway, so that's good.
Awesome.
Right, wicked. Right. To get the tag. What's that? Elk. What's that one there? Deer. Just let me come round there so it's the right way round so I can see what we do. Can't get it to open. Right, so I need to cut that bottom piece off. And then I need to get my knife. So let's get the scissors because that'll do a better job. So we need to go, it's a female. And it's, I've left it so it won't fall off, it's September. What date is it? 20th. Right. Sorry, I'll get them.
Just don't want them to end up on the hill.
What I will need is game bags.
Yeah, right.
Getting, not right this second, I'll skin it first I think. We'll need to keep the flies off it and that.
So obviously this is very different to what we do back home in Scotland. Back home we gralach the deer, which is basically gutting it for those who don't know. And then we take the carcass out whole, and the majority of them actually go into the public food chain. Even if we are taking a deer for our own personal consumption, we tend to remove it from the hill in one piece and then butcher it in the comfort of home. Obviously our hunting system is completely different, and most outfitters / professionals have ATVs or ponies for deer extraction. We personally use quads for big deer in hard to reach places, but for the most part we just carry them or drag them out. If the rental company wouldn't get mad at us, we'd be half tempted just to drag this doe down and get her in the wagon to get her in the shade and cooling sooner rather than later. It would be quicker than cutting her up here in the sun, but without a tarp and a carpeted boot, putting her in the rental would probably be taking the piss just a little too much. Also, we're here to experience how the Americans do it, and for the most part, this is how they do it. Here, a lot of people butcher in the field and pack out their meat, especially so when it comes to bigger species like elk and moose. Game meat here can be donated, but there's not a market for it like there is in the UK. I'm not saying there's not a demand for it, but there's no legal way of selling it on a large scale like ours. It's not like you can take it and sell it to a game dealer here. Now obviously, we don't live here, but we've just harvested a lot of venison, so what are we going to do with it? We're going to donate the majority of the meat to our friend, but we'll take some to live off whilst we're here. There's a good chunk of the trip left, and fresh venison sure beats dehydrated camping food. Even if it has been pre-cooked by the sun. Now there's a lot of heavy breathing in these clips. The climb wasn't bad. It was steep, but nothing we're not used to. The heat, however, was killing us both. We're from Scotland. We rarely see the sun. It's cold, it's grey, and most importantly, it's wet. The dry heat of Colorado is a very unnatural environment for us. I mean, the population of Scotland is only a few generations away from actually being amphibious, so this was torture.
Making our way down to this deer. Charlie's got back leg, front leg, and the back strap kind of bits. I've got back leg and a front leg and my bow, so it's bloody steep going. Almost there. Need to get this into some ice because it's been sat there for a while and this is bloody hot sun. Really need to get the meat safe in the chiller, in the cooler. Colorado mule deer done. I knew we'd get a deer. Get in there. Now then, if I ever get another mule deer tag, I will hold out for a big buck. But this time, I just spent a lot of money on the tag, and I wasted 2 elk tags 2 previous years, and I just needed to have a tag filled. I don't care whether it's a buck, I can't eat antlers. I'm sure as shit gonna eat this one. Pretty much emergency run to Walmart for ice, because that deer's freaking hot and there's not got enough ice in the cool box, so we're just completely legging it to find ice in this massive big Walmart. So.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, we've got a deer, so we need to get it cold quick.
Really warm, so cheers.
Thanks.
Ah, it's me again.
Right, so I'm sitting being a spotter. Charlie is away off up the hill, sneaking into that little gully there. She's over here somewhere coming across. This is where the bears came out last night. There's actually 2 or 3 muleys sitting there at the moment, which is a bit of a pain. Anyway, hopefully I can sit here and spot the bears, and hopefully they come out the same place and don't get underneath her or anything weird, because it is going to be almost to the edge of dark when she walks back down. Yeah, she's keen. It was spooky enough walking through it in the daylight, never mind in the dark, so I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully this goes according to plan. Hopefully she can sneak up in there in the rocks and just sit there, nice distance off them, and hopefully they just come down the same place. That would be perfect if it goes to plan, because if it goes to plan she'll kill one. If it doesn't go to plan, then we're going to go to Scott's tonight and get rid of this meat that I've got in the cooler. Really not happy with how hot it got for how long it was sat there, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Just really want to get it sorted out and cut up and into a freezer properly so as I know it's done. I don't want to waste it, that would be crap. Looks like, now that we've thought about the deer this morning, it looks like Charlie actually saw it die and collapse and roll down the hill. It was slightly around the curve of the hill from where it was, so she couldn't really see it particularly well. It just stopped in a bush from her perspective. Actually, what it probably did was stop there, fall over dead and roll down the hill. So the 3 hours that we gave it to make sure probably were 3 hours that it didn't actually need, and it just sat in the sun baking, which really isn't ideal. It was warm to the touch when we were cutting it up. When you watch all the videos of the Americans doing all of this stuff, they do that all the time and they seem to be perfectly fine with it. So I mean, it's obviously different to the way we normally do things back home by taking the whole carcass out and getting on with it. Anyway, it's in about 30 pounds of ice now. It is cold for sure, so it's safe. It's not going to get any worse. I just would like to have it out in the bags and just be sure. But anyway, that's a whole nother matter. Let's see how this bear hunting goes, because this could be entertaining. I wonder if she can even manage to aim when the bear comes in front, because I know I was just shaking like so. I remember the first time in Canada when we had the bears, I could hardly draw the bloody bow, I was that nervous. Anyway, right, enough of that nonsense. Wait and see what goes on. So, I've spotted Charlie after texting her back and forwards and asking her where she was. And I honestly do not know how she got there without me seeing her. Where is she at? There she is. I have no idea how she did that. Bloody hell, Mister. There she is. Like, I have no idea how she got to there across all of that without me seeing her. But she's in the middle there. She needs to get to that big rock. She says she's 123 yards off the muleys, which are there. So I'm guessing that if she gets to there, she's going to be 60 yards off them, which would give her probably something like 40 yards to the main part where the bears came down. So hopefully that would be ideal. I hope she's not gone anywhere too stupid, because she needs to come back down there in the dark, which in the dark with bears just not ideal, but sure she'll be fine.
Oh look, a nice representative buck. It sure would be a shame if someone had already filled their deer tag. I regret not putting in for a deer tag myself. If I ever come back to Colorado, I'll definitely want to have a go at stalking mule deer. Annoyingly, Rod convinced me not to take a camera with me tonight, and I listened, which was a crying shame, because I would have gotten some cracking film of these muleys in the evening light. To be fair, I kinda did get to stalk muleys. I sneaked in until I couldn't go any further without crawling or exposing myself. I was in bow range of the buck, and if I had my camera, I would have made the effort to get in closer unseen. But the task at hand was to wait out a bear, and so I made my presence known, quietly, in the hopes of gently spooking them on.
So I'm sitting watching for Charlie, obviously. She's in amongst these rocks that are in the centre of the picture. She's going to position herself there so that she can shoot across that little valley there. That's hopefully where the bears are going to come out. There was 2 cracking bears came out there last night. And it's hilarious because I shot a muley doe this morning, and Charlie's just sent me this picture. This is the buck that sat in front of her in shooting range, and I shot a doe this morning. We knew that would happen, didn't we? Yeah. Awesome. Anyway, I know where to come if I ever want to come again and try and get another one. That's a shame, that's a cool buck. And she's like in range of shooting it. Oh, how funny. I'm sitting here watching, looking, trying to find Charlie, asking Charlie where she was, because she's up in them rocks somewhere, and this car flew in and stopped. I never thought anything of it. Anyway, I was here, and all of a sudden, right here, right along here, a bear ran past. That must be the one that Charlie saw this morning, the one that was chasing, you know, the one that was getting barked at by the dog. It wasn't a massive bear, it was like a year-old kind of thing. Anyway, it shot past here, and I chased it away up the river along here, but I caught a glimpse of it. I don't know whether I got it on film or not, but that Charlie's away up there mountaineering, trying to get a bear, and there's one right here. Ah, how funny. Anyway, back to watching. We gotta love this. I'm sat here in the car trying to spot for Charlie, and she's away up the hill, sneaking in. There's some mule deer sat in the gully where the bears are coming out, and she sent me a picture of a bloody great big buck. Typically, and she's in bow range of this buck. I mean, he's a good, decent, representative kind of mule deer buck. And I shot a doe this morning, and she's sneaking in for a bear, and there's a buck. I mean, it's like sod's law. I'm sure at some point this week or whatever, this next 10 days before we get home, I'm going to have a huge muley buck stood in front of me that I could shoot somewhere. It's sod's law, but I didn't want to go home without trying at least to fill one of the tags, because like we've been 3 years in a row and that's the first tag that we've actually punched. So anyway, I wasn't not going to shoot a doe. If I ever come again and I ever get another mule deer tag, I know where to come, I know how to hunt this bit. Also, I would hold out for a buck next time, because that would be cool to have a nice high country muley buck head to have on the wall. But the funniest part is that this bear just ran like right along this little bank here. He ran right past me. Absolutely nuts. I think this little bear would be the same bear that Charlie saw this morning. He was like zooming that way. Something's obviously disturbed him or whatever. He's fenced. He's stuck between that fence and the road. You see, so he's probably had to go away along to the town or something. There's joggers and bikers, and I never known the like. It must be hilarious. We were talking to the taco guy. We were getting some tacos from his like burger van thing in the middle of the town, and he's sitting beside this railway, which is about 10 miles further up the road, or 5 miles up the road, and he was in the middle of town, and we were saying to him that we were hunting bears, and he said, oh, one walked past here, and this is the middle of town. Crazy. It seems so crazy to us because we don't have them, but like, in reality, it'd be an everyday occurrence here, I suspect. Anyway, hopefully one comes out for Charlie and she gets a crack.
Gently spooking the deer backfired. Just like an emboldened Rodo, the young muley doe decided that running was for pussies, and that it would be far better to hang around and make lots of noise while she tried to suss me out. The wind was travelling horizontally across the hill. It wouldn't be bad if the bears came out this chute, but it wasn't ideal. I hoped that as the sun dipped the thermals might take over and take my scent downhill, away from the bears and hopefully down to those bloody muleys.
Halfway through waiting on Charlie. So, Charlie is about right in the middle of the screen there by a little rock. She had a nice mule deer buck, and then the mule deer they're in here somewhere, and she's been snorting and stomping and all the rest. She's starting to shut up now though anyways, which is good. Now the bears last night came out from under those trees there. They kind of hung around just as the sun kind of set on them, pretty much. They hung around there and they just worked their way down these, and they came into these bushes. We've got film of them messing around in these bushes here. Charlie is right there. Charlie's right there. And she says the furthest a bear could be from her to there, where you can see there, is 65 yards. So if from her there on that edge of the screen to there, 65 yards, 30 to 40 yards is going to be in amongst these bushes in the middle, which is ideal. Gives her a little bit of leeway in case they come closer. Let's just hope that one comes out. Let's hope that that mule deer hasn't snorted on and spoiled the job. There's quite a lot of hill above there, where I don't know whether the bears are going up over the top there, or whether they're just lying up in that kind of corrie shape. I don't really know what they're doing. They might not even be in there. They might, I don't know whether these bears are doing a pattern or whether they're not, but that particular one goes right up and over the top, where most of the rest of the hill kind of bluffs out. I imagine a bear could probably get up there quite easily because they can climb quite good, but still, that particular valley there that she's sitting at the bottom of does look like the most likely one, and it's where they came out last night, so that's what we've got to work with. That's the knowledge that we know. We just have to hope that they come out again. If they don't come out again, we're going to go off and get this venison sorted out into a freezer, and then it's meant to snow a bit on Saturday. I've been here, so hopefully we'll get to dodge that by going down to Denver, and then sort the meat out, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of try and hunt these again. That's the plan anyway. Or if we get this bear, we might just sleep in the car tonight and extract it in the morning, because I don't really overly fancy going into Bearsville. Those bushes don't look very big, but I can assure you when you're stood over in there, those are big bushes. I mean, when you zoom in on Charlie, where's she at? Come on, zoom. When you zoom in and you see Charlie sitting there, you know, those bushes are over her head height, and she has like this whole banking. The bears were even hard to see. I mean, it looks really open and sparse, but when you're in there, it's anything but. Walking down there in the dark, if a bear gets below you, that's just not really going to be very nice fun. So hopefully a bear comes out bang on 7 o'clock, she shoots it, walks down there fairly well in the daylight, and then we'll just go and pick it up in the morning, because it'll be freezing cold tonight. Overnight it won't take any harm. It's down to like -3 at night, so that would chill it. And then in the morning, once it's light enough and safe enough, we can walk up there, make a shit ton of noise, and go and extract it. Obviously if she gets one. It's 7:15, the bears came out just after 7. The sun's just gone. The sun has just gone off the kind of chute that they're coming out of into the trees. The big dark trees here is where they appeared from last night. Charlie is sitting kind of over this side of the rocks here. The bears came out of there. Sorry, that's making the phone flicker. Hopefully the bears are sat up there, and hopefully once the shade kind of hits wherever the bears happen to be standing in the next quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, something like that, half an hour, hopefully that's what's the signal that brings them out and brings them down the hill. So we'll just wait and see. I wonder if Boo Boo's going to come and show his face to me again. I decided that this one back here was stealing picnic baskets. Because I don't know what else he's doing down here near the town.
The muley doe and the small 4-pointer hung around for the rest of the night, which wouldn't have been an issue if they'd shut up and minded their own. But that doe stood there and blew and stomped for about a solid hour straight. She was in range, and I was really starting to regret not having a deer tag.
The sun has gone quite well up now. Obviously Charlie's still stuck in behind a rock there. She's still stuck up in there, and that's good. Hopefully within the next 10 minutes the big black head sticks itself out of there. I really hope so. I don't know whether bears come in the same place every night at the same time or anything. I don't know whether that's a thing with bears. I can imagine it would be. Imagine if there's all, I mean, this hillside's stuffed with berries. The bears will be coming down to eat it. I think they just don't like the noise of this valley because there's a busy road and there's a lot of people jogging and all that kind of stuff. I reckon they just come down there just as it's dark and they kind of wander their way down. And they probably hold up about that kind of height up the. They probably hold up. So as they're a couple of 100 yards off the road, in amongst the top bushes where people can't really bother them. But, they seemed like they were almost jogging down last night. They seemed like they were like waiting to eat the berries. I don't know how big they were, but they looked like bloody big bears. But then I'm not any good at judging them, so who knows? Let's hope that they come out soon. I can't wait to see her draw that bow. That's 7 o'clock. Charlie's bear hunting still. 7:05 I think when I saw the nose poke out last night. I haven't seen anything yet. I just hope that they're coming down the same place and they don't get underneath her in the bushes or anything bloody stupid, because it's not ideal having to walk past a bear in the dark. Anyway, it's 7 o'clock and she's still tucked up in her little hidey hole by a big rock. And like I say, last night it was, both bears were out by 7:15, I'm fairly certain. Certainly the one bear was quite well down by 7:15, so let's see what happens.
Despite their carry-on, I had a really nice night sitting up here. The wind dampened the noise of the traffic enough to hear the birds. The air was warm but fresh. And as annoying as they were, it was really nice to spend the evening watching these adorable donkey-eared dickheads. They really are a beautiful species of deer.
Well, that's 7:10. No sign of anything yet. Sun's well and truly gone off of all these slopes. Charlie's still up there. I'm just keeping an eye out everywhere else, because there's all of these other slopes, and there's other various little bits where bears potentially could come out, so I'm just trying to keep an eye below her and just make sure no bears end up below her, so she can get back to the, car safely, or the road's over here. Obviously she just needs to come straight down, but I'm just trying to keep an eye out to make sure nothing's in there, or if there is something there, she can sneak down and try and shoot it as well, obviously. That's it, gone 7:15. Last night both bears were out by this time, quite well down the slope. Just kind of, there's like 10 minutes of shooting light left, maybe 15. I don't see any sign of any bears in there at all. And they've got probably best part of 100 yards to get down the slope before they're where she can shoot them. So they want to get their arses into gear if they're coming. So as you can see from the video, it's getting dark. I think shooting light's got another couple of minutes, but there's a muley been snorting and wheezing and stomping at her, and now there's a muley up higher up in the chute where the bears came from, and we've not seen any bears yet. I just don't think for a second there's even the remotest chance, so we've called it a night. Charlie's heading down the hill while it's light enough for me to see, in case there's any bears below there or anything. In case they've came round from a different angle, they shouldn't have, but I don't see anything anywhere, so I'm sure she's safe enough to come down. But anyway, point being, that didn't work. The bears haven't came out. There was some muleys in there, made a load of racket. I'm not really sure how bears react to that, but I would imagine if they've got any bloody sense, they know when a muley's doing something like that, there's something wrong. Same as anything else would. So, looks like that's us for tonight, until Charlie gets down and see what she's got to say. Bugger. We still got 10 more days though, and we know where the bears live. It's gotten dark, it's gotten beyond shooting light. Charlie's coming down the hill. Don't know whether I'll be able to pick her up in this. Where's she at? She's there, right by that big rock. There's a muley somewhere down in there I could see. I think that's it there. That's probably going to scare the shit out of her any moment when she walks down now. Anyway, I think she's good. I don't see any bears, but I'll tell you what, when you're up in there it's unnerving, because those bushes are like, you can see 10 feet in front of you. A bear could just explode out of your feet. It doesn't look like it, but I tell you, when you're in there it really is. I'm going to let her get so she's quite well down. Once she's about halfway from that rock to the bottom, then I'm going to drive round, because I can tell that she's going to safe then. Is the plan. She's going very slow, but it's so steep up there, I bet she's struggling to stand up. It's the weirdest. The perspective from here is so different to when you're stood over there. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and keep my eye on what she's doing.
Hey bear! Away you go, bear. Get to fuck, bear.
Alright?
Yeah.
That's annoying. I think that muley
Yeah.
is screwed.
Came up. 3 of them. The does clocked me. The buck didn't clock me, he was just looking at the does. Absolutely content. Really nice buck. Shame you filled your tag this morning.
Well,
he's a really nice
we knew
buck.
that would happen, but I wouldn't have came up there. I would have still done the same plan, so it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have mattered.
He ran up into the trees. They ran down. Turns out one of the does wasn't actually a doe. It was that stupid little.
That little forky buck I saw this morning. Yeah.
She just stood there. And just stood there and stood there and stood there and stomped.
Hissing and spitting.
And sounding like a horse. And coming closer, she came in at 50 yards, and her wee buck came as well, and he started stomping too.
Yeah.
And they just stayed there all night. And then that muley that you said on the way down, that was her. She just kind of come round.
Come down round you,
Yeah, and just stomp.
Oh well.
The wind kind of went diagonally up the hill, but I don't think it was going straight up. I think I was getting away with it.
I don't know what to do. I don't know if there's any better plan. I don't know.
I just want to try that again.
Well, yeah, I think it seemed like a good plan, but at the same
that was
time,
a good bit that I was on. Like everywhere. So if they were right up against the edge, they would have been like 60 yards.
Yeah.
But like where they would have probably walked, they would have been 40. And 40 is my most consistent shot for some reason. So like I was quite happy with that. Yeah. But if they'd come down the side I was on, I might not have seen them till they were beneath me.
I know, but I would have texted you if they were starting to.
And then they could have been 60 if they got to the bottom, but then I just wouldn't have taken I just probably wouldn't have taken the shot. Like. No. But yeah.
Well, like I said, at least we know where they are. We know where they are. We've got 10 days left to hunt. Yeah. I mean, the bear, honestly, you wait till you see the I don't know if I got it on the camera, but you wait till you see I pointed it out afterwards. A car pulled up and I never thought anything of it. They'd seen it and they'd yonked into the thing.
Right,
it came running right by.
But
it's like a year-old bear. It's that same one you saw this morning, I guarantee it. It shot off up there like a missile. It's not tiny, but it's not massive.
Oh, but like,
anyway.
those boys are big.
But we know where there's bears, so we've got a bloody good chance. So, right, let's get in a car and get away to Scots and sort the deer out.
Yeah? Cool.
Yeah?